Okay, we're down below now in the Outbound 46. This is 2016 model, hull number 59. Hull 65 is being built now. You can see the interior is very light and airy. What we tried to do is, or what we did was we raised the cabin sole about 3 or 4 inches. That gave us space under the cabin sole for large tanks. The boat has 190 gallons of fuel and 200 gallons of water underneath this beautiful teak and holly cabin sole. By raising the house up, we got a little larger windows to get a lot of light down below. The windows are laminated safety glass, very secure. On the port side is the U-shaped galley. It's all very conventional. The U-shaped galley is very secure offshore. As you can see, the cook can wedge themselves in there. There's good counter space, nice high fiddles. You'll see a nice detail on the Corian countertops rolled up on the edge, which allows the liquids, the water, to stay captive on the galley top. The underneath the sink there, the right cabinet is a slide-out garbage bin. You'll see the boat comes standard with a fresh and saltwater foot pumps, which is pretty rare today. The large 3-burner Force 10 stove, gimbaled stove, stainless steel with the stove and the broiler is all standard with the boat. The tambour door there above the stove is sized for a small microwave. Probably about half of our owners put a microwave in there. The rest of them just use that as extra galley storage. Moving up to the refrigeration, that's about a 10 cubic foot fiberglass box. In there we partition about 25% of that as a freezer in the lower corner, so it's a very efficient freezer. Most of the boats have 2 Frigiboat units or 2 refrigeration units for some redundancy. Nice deep polished stainless steel sink. You'll see on the top there's the spigot for the fresh water and also the saltwater foot pump. The spigot off to the outboard side there is the water tank vent. So the water tanks are both vented into one to this sink and one to the head sink. The fuel tank vents are actually in the stanchions, raised up above the water as high as possible above the deck so that you can't get water into the tanks. And then moving over to the starboard side, there's the forward-facing chart table with plenty of room for all today's modern electronics. He's got the full complement of Raymarine electronics, ICOM radio, ICOM single sideband. All of that we can install at the factory so that when the boat arrives here, it is ready to go. We basically put the boat in the water right off the ship, put the rig and the sails on, and we're usually done in 5 to 6 days, ready to take the customer on a 3 or 4 day sea trial on a shakedown. He's got Raymarine there. You'll also see a tank tender to keep track of the fluids in the tanks. There's a fusion radio that's an option, and it's a battery monitor to keep track of your battery systems. Moving forward is the nice settee that's oversized, so it feels more like a couch at home than it does on a settee on a boat. It's long enough, it makes a great sea berth. The boat comes with a lee cloth to make a sea berth. The center cushion there folds down to make a little cocktail table. So it's when you pull those cushions out, fore and aft, it's about a 7-foot sea berth. There's a lot of storage behind there. By putting the tanks below the cabin sole, all the space where most boats have tanks, like under settees and under bunks and things, we have storage. So we have, like I said, 190 gallons of fuel, 200 gallons of water under the sole, located centrally in the boat and low, so it adds to the stability of the boat, but it also frees up a lot of space for storage. And on a cruising boat, you can never have enough storage. So on the port side is the large dinette. Once again, all the space under those seats is empty, and behind the seat back is empty. So there's a ton of storage. This table rolls down and makes into a large double bunk here for overflow sleeping capacity. So between the double up forward, the settees, and this one, you can easily sleep a reasonable family for a weekend or longer. This wood is cherry, American cherry. We also offer teak, but the cherry is a little more consistent, easier to get these days. Teak is becoming a little more complicated, but we do offer teak as well. The boat is handcrafted, beautifully handcrafted, with a type of detail that you just don't see very often these days. The The batteries are located under the starboard settee. The boat comes standard with 4 8Ds, and there's a battery charger there, and room for air conditioning unit and things like that. The boat comes standard with all the lights are LED. The reading lights are LED. The overhead lights are LED, red and white, for offshore sailing at night, all standard. So what you're seeing here, the fans are standard, all the lighting, the clock and the barometer is an option. He added a stereo system. But we try to complete the boat as much as possible at the yard, so that when the boat gets here, you don't have to do any too much outfitting. Another nice feature that comes standard with the boat is that all the hatches have screens. This is the companionway hatch here, and then including the overhead hatch here, there's a screen door that goes across the companionway as well. Okay, now we're in up by the main bulkhead looking aft into the salon and the galley area. Once again, you can see the really light and airy interior. Beautiful cherry. Just a nice big family room, like a great room feel. The galley facing forward, so the cook is with the rest of the crowd. The number one design feature on this boat from day one, when I first commissioned Carl Schumacher to design it, was the companionway. I wanted 3 steps coming in so that you have real easy access in and out of the cabin, so that everybody in the cockpit and the cabin basically flows as one. Unlike most boats with a real steep ladder, you can come down this ladder forward, much safer offshore. You're not doing any climbing. It's, like I said, the number one feature on the boat is the companionway. Another nice feature you'll find on the Outbound 46 is the number of handholds. All throughout the boat, you'll find beautiful handholds. In the galley, there's 2. There's 2 coming down the companionway. Coming across through the starboard side of the salon, there's a full-length handhold along here. It's probably one of the biggest things we hear about at the boat shows, the number of boats at the shows that just don't even have handholds anymore. For serious offshore sailing, it's a must. In addition to the easy access in and out of the cabin, the companionway is also designed for very easy access to the engine on air shocks. That's a Yanmar 80 horsepower common rail engine. The bleed point is right in the front of the engine. You can get to everything pretty easily, and then anything else. Both side panels on each side are hinged to give you access to the side of the engine. A nice feature on the new Yanmar 80 horsepower engine is the ability to put 2 large alternators on the engine, standard from Yanmar. Those are 2 120 amp alternators. We've rigged them with a fan, a blower system to keep them cool, but we get 200 amps charging pretty easily on this boat. This is the starboard side access panel to the engine. Easy access again. In addition to the companionway, we've got the side panels. On this side, you can see the fuel filter and the oil filter, and the dipstick and any of the large fuel filter on the back bulkhead here to bleed the engine. Okay, the boat has a teak and holly cabin sole, and unlike most boats, it's actual wood. And not only is it wood, it's not just veneer. This is a teak and holly. The teak and holly is about 3/16 of an inch solid thickness. So if you ever had to sand it down, then you've actually got some wood there to sand down. And then access to the bilge. The boat has a very deep bilge sump, and we've added a little access port here so you can monitor your bilge when you're offshore easily. It's got 2 hand bilge pumps standard. One has the control in the cockpit by the wheel, and the other is a control or the pump down below in the aft stateroom. And then 2 electric bilge pumps, 1 high bilge pump for bad conditions. And there's indicator lights in the cockpit and in the chart table to show you that your bilge pumps are running. And then for bigger access to the bilge, this whole piece comes up. As you can see, there's a lot of space there, and owners actually use this space for storage, things like dive gear, bottled water, beer. There's a lot of extra space, and once again, more storage for the boat. And you can see a very sturdy glassed-in stringer system. It's not a pan. The entire longitudinal system, stringer system, is all glass to the hull when the boat's still in the mold. So it's a very, very, very solid boat. You can see the dining room or the dinette table here, bolted right straight to a massive stringer. The boat is very, very solid, very silent. When you're offshore, 30 knots of wind, it's just like a library down here. There's no creaking and groaning. Okay, we've moved forward up into the forward stateroom. On the Outbound 46, the owner's cabin is forward. You can see a large centerline queen bunk. We also offer a Pullman bunk off to the side, but this is by far the most popular. It's a good sea berth with you off the wind. If you're going upwind, you're not going to be sleeping up here. You'll be sleeping back aft. But when you get where you're going, or you're at anchor, which is, you'll spend a lot of time not sailing, and then you've got a nice bunk here, similar to your house, with the bulkhead behind your head, and you're looking aft. There's great storage on each side of the bunk. Up high in the sliding lockers, there's huge storage there. There's 4 big drawers under the bunk, and then the bunk also lifts up very easily for massive storage underneath here. So you've got a lot of room here for storage. Once again, between the tanks and the storage, the boat makes a great offshore cruising boat. The space here on top of the drawers is a good place to stow charts, and just once again, a lot of storage, easy access storage. On the 2016 models, we moved the forward head sink out into the stateroom itself as a vanity, which allows 2 people to actually use the space a little more efficiently. It also allowed us to adjust some of the plumbing in the head itself to eliminate macerator pumps and a lot of toilet plumbing. Okay, by moving the sink forward into the space itself, we were able to move the holding tank up above the waterline behind the toilet here so that it's gravity feed out. So there's no macerator. The waste goes directly into the top of the tank. There's a valve at the bottom of the tank, and if you need to store the waste, you can close the valve. When you want to lose the waste, you can just open the valve. So no more macerators and head plumbing to contend with. So this head space is small. It's the secondary head. If it's just a couple on board, you're going to be using the aft head where there's a very large separate stall shower. This is just extra, so if you had guests aboard, the owners of the boat have a private space up here for themselves and as a backup. Most people put a manual head up here as a spare, and then back aft we usually put an electric head. We've moved back to aft now, where you can see the second head back by the companionway just after the chart table. Nice large head. It's nice to have a head right at the companionway, so if you come down below with your wet foul weather gear, you can jump straight into that space and drip the water into the head, not across the whole boat. This boat has an electric toilet, as most of them have back aft here, and makes a real good use of the space. The Corian countertop, a couple of drawers, and once again then moving aft is the large stall shower. That'd be your primary shower on the boat, and you can see there's plenty of room in there for taking a shower, and there's a seat for offshore. And then once again behind that panel, the outboard panel in the shower, is the holding tank for the aft toilet. So it's above the waterline, very short hose runs, no macerators, and just cleans up a lot of the problems on plumbing on a boat. And then on the aft bulkhead there in the shower is access back into the lazarette space that we'll see in the deck video. On the port side of the boat, back aft by the companionway opposite the head and aft of the galley, is the large quarter berth. Great sea berth. Plenty of room back here for 2. We also, you'll see where the cushion has the break in it, we offer a bunk board, a solid plywood board to put between the 2 cushions so that 2 people can use this space offshore. There's great storage underneath the bunk there. There's 2 large drawers. The water heater is located underneath this bunk, as is the Wabasco heat system as an option, and a lot of extra space for storage. There's a small hanging locker and a drawer or a shelf locker, and then there's the sliding lockers up above the bunk, which provide a tremendous amount of storage.